Continue.
All right, and we're live here at the Station of Decapitation Without Your Head, and we just watched My Horror Story Season 1. It was very cool to watch it with everybody, and now we have all the fine people here that helped make it. There's Sam Mason Bell.
Hello.
Hello. Annabella Rich.
Hi.
Hello. Jackson Batchelor.
Hello.
Simon Barry.
Hello.
And Ryan Carter.
Howdy.
Hello. I think I've had everyone on here before. It's always good to talk to everybody.
I don't think you've had Bella on before.
No, I think I was
my first time.
Right. I was in a quiz show with her.
Yeah.
But
Of course.
Right. Right. So it's very cool to watch. Is this I know it's on it's already been live, on YouTube, but is this the first time watching with other people?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we tend to screen it through another live stream that we do, but this is the first time we've watched it all together in one go. First time I've watched it all together in one go. So that was quite a different experience, actually.
Yeah. So where did the whole idea come from?
So essentially, I think we'd been discussing how to sort of do bigger ideas for a long time on a lower budget. And I'd sort of thought about doing like audio sort of stories kind of thing. And then when the pandemic hit and we realized that we really had to bring down so many aspects of crew, and it wouldn't be possible to get like loads of cast together, I just thought this is the perfect time to try this idea. So we started with Sam and Ryan, who I live with and work on most of our projects. And yeah, from there we just sort of expanded out, and it's been great working and getting so many others together.
Now, for a few things here about how you made it, because it's primarily a person sitting there telling the story. So to keep that interesting, you have to move the key. You have to have some camera movements. You have to have good audio. So once you started filming, like went through your mind, like what do we have to do to? Obviously, the dialogue keeps you into it, but you have to have a little bit more than just because it is someone sitting there.
To me, I always think of it as just being about the performance. I try to not do anything too different with the camera work or anything like that. I keep it very strictly to the close up and the mid shot. And I think that it's all through the performance and the sort of the work that each actor has put into it that really brings that story to life. I think it's part of the process of how we build the story, because I work with each actor individually to come up with the narrative in the first place, and we base it on their own personal fears and what they feel about horror. So I feel like that's quite a useful way for an actor to be able to really sort of be passionate and believe in the story that they're telling, and bring that to life for an audience. So it's all about the performer and their engagement.
Bella, what did you think of the project when they came to you with it?
I love every project they speak to me about, so I was well up for it. Yeah, it was definitely a different one. It's the longest in terms of collabing and improvising we've done. We spent forever going through these stories to like get it perfect. It's such a long piece, but yeah, overall I was really excited.
Yeah. And Sam, you're in a lot of the films, but usually a small role. So as far as I know, this was like your longest acting role.
It was one of the longer acting roles. Someone had to be the test monkey to see if it worked. So I thought I'd put myself forward for it. Yeah, it was good fun. The thing is,
was that monkey smoking?
Well, that's a little in joke, a weird one. But yeah, because it's all improvised, and I know each actor's had their own style of how they did it. Like I did mine was in like 3 sections. So I told the middle, beginning, and end, and we did it in the 2 different shots.
We did it in the chronological order, though. The beginning, then the middle, then the end, rather than the other way around.
Whereas, like Ryan's was like 24-minute performance that Jackson cut down to 16 minutes.
Oh.
So it's kind of fun to just see where the flow could go with that. And yeah, it was cool to be the first one. Got to try and look a bit like early John Carpenter, Maybe I pulled it off.
Specifically for that.
I did. I made that look specifically for that role.
I was interested in when it came up in the chat that you said it was a lot of improv, because I know that's how you guys normally work, but I thought since this is really about the story and the dialogue, if it was everything was really thought out beforehand, the stories, but I guess a lot of it was just on the fly, or how exactly did that work?
So all of it is improvised to a certain extent. I mean, it's devised really. So we sort of come up with the storyline beforehand and rehearse it a couple of times. But I tend not to want it to be them to try to replicate the rehearsal that they gave, and rather to sort of just embrace the story as they feel about it at the time. And so it's a bit of an experimental kind of thing, really. But it's all about the collaboration between me and the performer, and that's why it's always written by me and the other person. And
Right.
yeah,
it's interesting because I know Sam's seen it. If anyone else seen my short film Umbilicus Desidera, but it was similar idea. Was we just had the idea, but I had no script or anything. And I just, told this. I really just sat down in a chair and told the big story for 20 minutes, and they cut it down to a few minutes. But it kind of reminded me of that
great
same
impact,
idea.
though, can't it? Of just putting you in that sort of like documentary vibe. So you kind of brought into the story. We get a lot of YouTube comments on Bella's video in particular, where they think it's real.
Yeah.
They think she's telling a true story. And it's like, oh, look, this is a bit
I
too
thought
cinematic.
Simon's was real, but that's interesting.
I knew you were going to say that, Neil. I knew you were going to say that.
and yes, Simon is still my boy. I said my boy Simon. I don't judge, whatever he's into. Is totally fine. He's still a good guy. So what's the process there, Bella? So you get the story, so what's the process there to before you sit down and start doing it? Like, do you think out like some certain things you're going to say, like bullet points, or?
So Jackson, the whole process was Jackson was like, "What are you scared of?" And I think we were going on this interdimensional thing, and it was absolute just bull. But it turned into the story, and the way he phrased it for me is he had these. It was the beginning, middle, end, and then I had to find these little points to hit. But it's kind of like being a kid. The way we did it was you just talk about this imaginary world, and then it gets bigger and bigger, and you get more into it, and then you're adding bits in. When I watch it back, I'm like, did I say that? Like, it's like 10 minutes of compulsive lying, essentially. So that was the process.
Yeah, you mentioned as a kid, that reminds me when we were kids, we would do like ghost stories, not really around a campfire, but we'd sit around, in the dark, either in the basement or outside, and everyone would just make up stuff. And I know it's a little different, but
I actually considered trying to put a campfire in it in the beginning, but realised that it just wouldn't have been possible to shoot it every time with a campfire.
Now, Ryan, last time I talked to you, you were thinking about you weren't going to act ever again. I'm glad that you decided.
I had no choice.
Yeah,
like last year, funnily enough, was meant to be a year like I kind of branched more into doing directing and stuff, but with the pandemic and stuff, and we work quite closely because we only had each other to sort of work with. Because I'd done acting before, Jackson felt comfortable with me just doing the second episode. So yeah, I got roped into doing it, but yeah, our process was a bit like tough initially. Because like when Jack says, "Oh, what do you fear? Like, what's your deepest fear?" I didn't really have a fear, so mine was kind of like fear of fear itself, and like yeah. So our process then was working out okay, like with the kids and things like that. Yeah, it was interesting.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think each of the sort of processes have such unique elements because you've got so many different parts of someone's fears that each one has been like totally different to every other one, even when there's been similarities in the fears in the first place.
Mm.
So what was Simon's
we even got
fear?
you to shave your head for it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I thought it was a good look.
Someone turned around and said I looked like James McAvoy at the time whenever I was wearing a turtleneck.
You definitely looked like
Split.
someone. I was trying to pinpoint who, but I couldn't think of who. But it definitely.
I took it as a compliment, to be
Oh
fair.
yeah. So what was Simon's fear then? Is it like fear of being a vegetarian? Or?
Mate, I am vegetarian.
Oh, okay.
I don't like food, to be honest, Neil.
Oh,
The whole
really?
thing, it's like it's eating other creatures, other things. The whole weird world. It's a weird world, mate. It's really strange. It's a strange universe. The whole thing freaks me out.
Huh.
All the strange.
But
ones.
I think with yours, Simon, it started with it being like brain-eating amoeba or something, and that was the
We
that
had a
was
couple of different things, didn't we?
yeah. Yeah, it was the idea of sort of something taking control of your body and you kind of not knowing what was going on, and yeah, the food stuff played into it really well as well.
Yeah, but once we got the idea of eating dog shit, we just couldn't let that go. Really, that was too
Had
good.
to get it in there.
Had to get that in there.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's a weird fear to have. I think that's probably
No, it's quite normal.
right. I don't think most people are in. Well, I can't. Again, I can't judge anyone. But. So were these all filmed at one go? I know you said like a couple of them you did 2 goes and then you edited them together.
So we shot them each time they tell the story. To tell the story twice, so that we've got the close up and the mid shot. And other than that, unless there's sort of any like big slips or things that don't quite fit, we might do another take. But usually I'll just sort of have the actors usually prepared enough to just tell their story off the cusp. Which is just amazing. Like
They were filmed over several months as well.
Yeah. Each
Actors.
one has taken sort of like a few. Like there's a process that takes about a month before we're ready to shoot.
Was that any added pressure, Bella? Like that you want to try to film this in one take? Or is that how you guys normally work? I don't know.
It's a mix. It was an odd one with us because we did ours during the pandemic. It was still legal at the time. But we'd actually just shot something previously, so you can't see. But under my shirt, I had fake blood all under the black. Yeah, so we went straight onto it, and it was like, "Are you ready to do this?" And I think we just had such a long day, and it was like, "Yeah." And thankfully, it just flowed really naturally. But I think that was because we didn't have that awkward like hour of getting prepped and everything. We've been doing bits all day. It was definitely fun.
I remember we had to get a lot of takes for yours, Bella, because like there was drunk people shouting outside for a while. It's a nightmare.
You can't trust the general public, Ken.
Nope.
They're so rude sometimes.
I would think when you're really, like I said, you're fixated on one person, you'd have to spend, that would take even more precise camera work because you want to make sure, you get it's well shot, well lit.
I think that's the simplicity of it though. When you've got it that simple, you don't have to stress it out. And it's always, you're always cut into a close up for a more intense moment or to give a different response, different reaction. Because they never perform it the same way, the actors. So it gives Jackson a chance to find a different way they interpret it on the close up as opposed to the wide shot. It's kind of, it's the simplicity of it. It just allows the storytelling to take center place. It's kind of cool.
I know in the chat you mentioned Jack White, not from the famous band, did that, and I thought that the score, it was great because there's not too much score, but it's just enough to really enhance it.
Yeah, and we've been working with the last 2 were scored by Ben Farron and
Tom Ryan.
Tom Ryan, yeah. And they were quite different from one another, and I really like that sort of the fact that you bring in a new talent or someone different, and it just does something entirely different with it, and comes up with different and new ideas for it. I love that.
Sam said he was kind of like the guinea pig. Did you film his and finish it before everyone else filmed theirs?
Yeah. There was actually quite a big gap between yours and then the next one because it was yours and then Ryan's, and then there was a gap. Partly for practicality, and partly because it was sort of like we're trying to see how this goes. It was a bit of an experiment. And
did we have Senseless in between?
No, Census was after we had my episode, your episode. Then we shot some more of acting and did Bella's episode, and then we had Senseless. So it was a bit of a like, let's get 3 out there to get a response, get back to making the horror features, and then get back to that. And with COVID and all that.
Originally, we'd wanted 6 for the first season, but then we went back into a harsher lockdown at the end of the year, and it was just impossible. Yeah. But we've worked with the person who was lined up, and that will be the one coming out on Monday.
Yeah, brand new episode Monday.
So is that the beginning of the new season, or is that still season 1?
Yeah. And hopefully we'll get 6 episodes this season.
Very cool.
2 done already, haven't we?
Yeah, shot 2 so far.
Oh, nice. Did after you saw Sam's, Ryan, did that affect how you were going to do yours?
Not really. I think Sam was very specific in what he did, and it's like a pet hit for him, realistic, like in real life and stuff. Like with the
body
skin and the
horror,
yeah.
body horror.
And whereas I never really envisaged anything like that, so I think it was really simple to come up with something different that didn't take anything away from what Sam did. So it was all right. It was easy enough.
And Simon, for yours, I think when you have the big reveal, it really changes what's going on, because you're thinking like, you don't know where this is going when he's talking.
No,
about,
we tried to keep it really subtle, so no one knew where we were going to head with this.
Yeah. So how much thought is in there? Like, when are we going to have the reveal? Because if you have it right at the end, it's just kind of a one joke thing. But if you have it at a different time, then you can keep going with it.
Yeah, we built it up really it works quite well, I think. It's a very gentle build up without letting them know what's actually going to happen. And then some of the people we watched the last time, like when it was first showed, someone was watching it with their housemates, and she said that they were all reaching in the background. that's a success as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. Yeah, and every time I thought it was enough, it keeps getting worse. When you're like, this is bad enough, and then it's like there's nothing like licking up diarrhea off the floor, and I'm like, I didn't expect to hear this.
I thought we would
all about. I forgot all about the
lose...
fresh Eagle diarrhea line. Actually,
I thought we were going to lose audience with Simons. I thought there'd be a big drop off as soon as people realised what he was talking about. But actually, it seems like the audience stayed switched on.
I was watching. I think it was actually the spike, which I thought was bizarre. Maybe it speaks a lot to our audience. I don't know. Bella, what did you think when you read the people saying asking if this is real, if this is a true story?
I find it kind of funny. I actually showed it to my little brother first, and I told him this was a true story, and he got really upset because he's like, "You say you're an only child," and I was like, "Yeah, ha." But no, I find it really. I do find it.
That's brutal, Bella.
He's only 4 years old.
To be fair, he figured it out, and if he could figure it out, then yeah, it's an odd one. It is an odd one. I like to hope people don't actually think it's a real thing, because it would be quite scary having multiple people. yeah. But then again, I get a lot of comments on there as well, like, "Oh, that's utter trash talking," and I'm there like, yeah, okay.
Yeah. What did you think, Ryan, when you saw the finished project?
Well, of mine or of Bella's?
Well, all of them really, but yeah, of yours specifically.
Yeah, it was interesting. I'm the type of actor that doesn't like to watch myself back. I get really cringed out by my own performances. And even just like the first time I watched it, I was like, oh, okay, you could have done this better, could have done that better. But then when we just sat and watched it there now, I was like, oh, this isn't as bad as I remember. Like, but yeah, it was all right. Yeah, it was decent. It was good.
It's a running theme, I think, with Ryan. Yeah, are you going to quit again, or are you still?
We'll see what the response is like from this, and then I'll decide.
Sure.
No, I think I'll probably do a few more like acting roles in the future. But yeah, I want to get into directing. Like next year, I want to be able to like direct another feature film and go from there.
Now, Sam, do you actually smoke?
Yeah, I love smoking.
Okay.
I kind of insisted. I was like, I need to smoke during it because it'll give me something to do. It'll look better. It was only 2 cigarettes.
Oh, was it?
I think.
Neil.
There was quite a few cigarettes.
Neil, if you notice, Neil, every film that we make, there is a smoking section. If we could get paid by the tobacco companies, we will be making a fortune, honestly.
Well, we're pro smokers, they're trying to get it out of the industry. I want to see more people smoking away.
Don't start saying that.
I know, but my brother's a big smoker, and when I say go to the conventions a lot with him, you actually hang out with the cool people when you're out in the smoking group.
Smoking always.
There was a short period of time I smoked a pipe, which I never told anybody, but it was actually filled with some kind of mint. It had no real tobacco in it, but I just wanted to hang out with the smokers.
Good idea.
Yeah. But
Sam told me that we could not shoot his one without him having a cigarette. He insisted upon it. And I thought, well, why not?
Yeah, that worked. So I just want to say real quick too. I like Simon's shirt, by the way.
It's an awesome
Available
for yourself,
from this
Bill.
man here.
Very nicely designed.
Thank you. I appreciate
Very
it.
well designed.
Mm.
And Simon, what did you think of the finished project as a whole?
I really enjoy it actually. I think it's quite it's personal.
Mhm.
You're like really up close with each story, aren't you? So I like that.
Yeah, yours
It's
has a
enjoyable.
touch of humor to it, but it's very dark humor, but yet it's played very serious, which I think is important.
Yeah. So some of them are quite emotional actually.
I think yours is the most emotional. I get really sad for your character at the end because he's
Yeah,
so
it-
hopelessly lost and eating shit.
There's a lot going on there. There's this weird dark humor, but yeah, you actually feel bad for the guy, and
I think
And
it's
that's-
important. I think it's important with horror, especially when you got it so stripped back like this, that you need to put sort of the light elements into the narrative to really sort of see the dark elements. I mean, it's like a picture. You know, if everything is dark, you can't see anything. But if you've got
Right.
bits of light, you can appreciate the darkness more.
yeah, said by the three dark men there.
Yeah.
I'll come into the light.
Don't go into the light.
Bella, what did you think of once you saw all of them done? What did you think?
You know, when they were explaining the idea to me and I watched the first few, it was exactly how I imagined it, and I thought it was really well rounded. I thought each story was really nicely done. I think they cast the whole thing very well in terms of who they had after each other. I thought it was a really cool little idea, and I just really like it. I really like the whole little season. They're fun and they're weird and they're also kind of scary, and they're just
They're
odd
unique.
little cool pieces.
And Sam, what did you think?
Yeah, I when Jack wanted to do the idea, like, because we recently just finished one comedy show was still ongoing, but one other comedy show we just finished, and we were like, should we do web series? Is there any point with all the feature work and everything else? But it was something Jack really wanted to do. And when we started making them, I now want it to just be endless. I want to see like American versions. I tried to like filter in storylines to Jackson that he can get the actors to do, but he won't let me.
I'm
strict.
very strict with the process. I don't allow external interference into the story building process.
Yeah.
Sam's desperate to do Sam's horror story.
If we get to like episode 100, I get to direct a bunch of them, choose some stories. Yeah.
I honestly, not because you guys are here and stuff, and I like you guys, everyone, but I really dig them. They're unique, and you really get into them.
Cheers. Yeah.
Well, the next one is out on Monday, so I'll post it on the group. And we've already shot the second. It takes like a month for each one to come out, and COVID safety, hopefully we'll be able to shoot more of them. We've got a bunch of actors lined up as well.
Yeah.
Oh, very cool. And was the idea always to put them on YouTube?
Well, more to get to. Really, YouTube's always a starting point because we've got a decent subscribers. Really, it's about getting to as many VOD sites as possible. We've sent it out to some where it's on Versus Media. We've talked to a few others. And really, we just want to get the reach out to as many different platforms as possible.
Right. Yeah.
To me as well, I feel like this is it's sort of 15-20 minutes with one specific actor, and so like I want it to get out to people who might cast actors in certain things. I want people to see it who other horror filmmakers and things like that. I think that's really really key to the project is trying to get people work out of it in some
Excellent
ways.
showreel material.
Yeah. Just about to say that.
Yes.
I'll embed them up on the Without Your Head website too each episode, and when they pop up, I'll put up the new one if you guys want.
Thank you very much.
Oh, go on.
So where can they subscribe to see each new episode?
Trash Arts Portsmouth on YouTube.
Yeah.
Do it
Where-
right now so you're ready for Monday, and then
And then ring the bell as well, and then, then you'll get a notification.
Right, you gotta hit the bell. I always forget to mention these things, but hit the bell icon so you can get all. I always assume that it's really annoying to tell everyone this, but
it's got to be done and all that.
exactly.
Ding, ding.
Self-promotion.
Go on, Simon. Sorry.
I was going to say, we're forced to self-promote, mate. No one else is going to do it for us.
Right. I totally understand. So yeah. How about just following each of you individually? How can people do that? Not to your homes, but you know.
Well, we live together, so if you find one of
So
us,
you can.
That's how you found each other. Yeah.
yeah, I just stumbled in one day.
Said, "Do you want to act?" And he was like, "Yep."
I was just Portsmouth with my cats, and then
Keep the litter boxes away from Simon.
Yeah. Crunchy.
You can you can check out Trash Arts via Facebook Trash Arts UK or Twitter Trash Arts Film. I think Instagram's Trash Arts Official or Trash Arts UK. One of them's like been dead for years and has random pictures of us back from 2012. One of them's very active. Hopefully you find the active one. Yeah, and I don't know if you want to do any personal profiles. Or...
my Instagram is Ryan Spindle. I think it is. I don't know.
I would give my social media details, but I really don't post very often. I'm terrible for it. So it's probably better just to follow either Sam or Trash Arts generally, because then you'll actually know what's going on.
How about Bella?
I do. I've actually made a website. It's getting there. It's got stuff if anyone wants to stalk, but it's literally just annabellarich.com. Otherwise, I've got my Instagram handle, which is bella.r.rich. It's all on my website. It's got loads of like linky bits. You know, they're really hard to use. It's getting there.
Yeah, I understand. And Simon.
I'm an illusion, Neil. I'm not really here.
All right. Fair enough.
You don't want to follow me. That'd be dreadfully weird, that would.
I'll follow you. So.
Well, we're already friends, mate, on Facebook.
Right,
It's okay.
right. I'm gonna unfriend you and then refollow you. So, so you feel happy, I guess. Well, this was really fun, and I hope we do some more stuff in the future here.
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely.
And oh, by the way, do you have any? What's coming up? I know the new episode Monday, but what else is coming up from Trash Arts?
We're shooting Terror Blatchley Forest, slasher remake of Dustin Ferguson's film. We're shooting that in like 2 weeks and a bit. It's
very
real
nice.
soon. So that's like our main mind's focus on that. We got Fixer, our crime thriller. That's coming out on Dark Side, releasing at the end of June. Got a bunch of films post-production. In post-production. Yeah, there's a lot of things running around at different times, basically. So we got some features with Bella that'll be out later in the year as well. Acting on Israel LA. Shot Hacker with Chris Mills for James Brizak. I said his name right?
Oh yeah,
so James Kazak.
Yeah, former multiple-time guest on the show.
Yes, that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've been busy.
He's probably watching, and you've just been sacked.
It'd be nice to know if he was watching. That would be nice.
At least we've got a bit of promotion.
Exactly. Very good. Anything from you, Simon? I know you're not really here, but anything we can dream about?
No, but if you want an 8-bit T-shirt, go to Neil.
There you go. Excellent. Slasherman. I have a whole website too. Slasherman.com. You can get it right from there.
There you see, that's what you want to do.
I was shocked no one owned Slasherman.com. I was very happy. And now someone does. Me. All right. It's been very cool. And thanks again.
Awesome.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for having us.
Yeah.
Bye.
I know it's late there, so good night, everybody.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye.
Adios.